with us tonight at Echo Base TV, where community happens. Echo Base Network. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight at Echo Base TV, where community happens. It's finally over. The Acolyte is no more. We just witnessed the series finale. I hope. Maybe. Hell, I don't know. It was a lot of fun watching. It was a lot of fun covering it. It was like trying to solve, as Nick put so elegantly, 5 different jigsaw puzzles all thrown together. That's what watching The Acolyte was like, trying to figure out that, to solve 5 puzzles together. It was crazy. And tonight is a return to normalcy. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about it, but that's not going to be the whole premise of the show tonight. Instead, we're going to turn the tables and actually do a little discussion about what are you actually looking forward to. And I'm not just talking Star Wars. If that's Star Wars for you, that's awesome. But there are some things that are coming down the pipe that have me very excited. First and foremost, guys, thank you so much for being here. We got 170 people here at the very top of the show. Welcome to our Thursday night live show that we call EBN Live. Thank you for our moderators for being here and all of our members and our subscribers, and special welcome to any and all guests. Nick will be here momentarily. He is on a work call at the moment. We have the return of the almighty, powerful associate producer on the channel, Matt Rissman, who also did not enjoy The Acolyte at all. But he has not been able to join us on our Tuesday night's stream, so he is here tonight. I got to tell you guys, have you, had a cleansing since you watched The Acolyte? Have you gone and watched something that you actually love and enjoy, like something that you found quite refreshing, son. Quite refreshing. Have you? Have you saw anything like that? I just did. If you've seen something that cleansed that for you, post it in chat. I want to see what you've done. I am going to tell you, like a colon cleanse, exactly, DK Gong, exactly. I had my Acolyte colon cleanse today. Yes, I did. What's up, brother? My brother from across the pond. What's up, Sam? I went and watched something with an incredible story, great symbolic moments throughout the movie, incredible performances from so many different people involved, incredible direction and production. And we're talking about something that's over 50 years old. Ladies and gentlemen, today I watched The Godfather, the original, the OG. And I'm telling you, whatever comes out of Francis Ford Coppola's butt has more talent than Leslie Hesland. Like, no kidding. It felt so good to watch something enjoyable. It's been, I probably watch The Godfather once every year or two. So it was time. It was time for me to go and revisit. Karen's Go Wild. I'm sure that was interesting. The Rookie. All right. The Boys season finale. Cobra Kai. We'll be talking a little Cobra Kai. Attack on Titan. Heck yeah. Absolutely. Fantastic. Sonic 3. Doomcock's panel last night. I'm sure that was awesome. He always has good panels over there. Cobra Kai Never Dies. Let's see what else we got. Watched a documentary on praying mantis. That was cool. Good. Excellent. I love the Acolyte. I don't understand why the fans didn't like it. Too bad. They will give us less of this kind of Star Wars now. I don't know if that's true, that they're going to give us less. We don't know about that, Robert, but glad you enjoyed it, truly. It is well documented, all the different reasons why I didn't enjoy it, and people here at EBN. But hey, that is awesome. Yes, The Godfather is a great movie. The Netflix series Furies. I'll have to check into that. Star Wars Mom. Good. Anything Star Wars Mom suggests, it's good. It's safe and it's good, unless she had too many frozen margaritas at Chili's. Let's see. The Terminator, RoboCop, and the Goonies. For me, dadgum, we got cleansed 3 times. I hear you, Baracus. That's awesome, brother. That sounds like a great day right there. Well, guys, thank you. 2001: A Space Odyssey, excellent. The Godfather, $74 million budget, worth every dollar. Was it 74 million? I don't remember. I actually looked into that not long ago, but very cool. House of the Dragon. Will Coach join Hair Club for Men? No, because I don't think that crap works. My hair's too far gone. I need a hair transplant, and I don't care. I don't care. My wife doesn't care. I don't care. And if I can get about 20% of these cheeks down more, I'll probably be walking in here looking like Risman one day. Just saying. Just be ready. Whatever. You're laughing in the background. I see you. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and bring in... Coach is bold. Yeah, that's it. I'm bold, not bald. Hail to the legendary Tron. He fights for the users. He watched RoboCop. That is awesome, Tron. Glad you are on the mend. Very, very good, man. Very, very good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, gonna bring him in. We're gonna get a little chit chat going. What are we looking forward to? Nick will be joining us here in just a few moments. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is. I'm so out of practice. I didn't even say there's 4 ways you can support us.
I know. I wondered.
It's okay. Everybody already knows them. Thank you guys for all your support. How are you doing, man? We have not been on a stream together in a little bit of time.
It's been a minute and a half. I'm always asleep. You guys are going like gangbusters on both Sunday and Tuesday night, and
Oh man,
I wake up in the morning and I say, "Oh gosh, they're gone for 3 hours again and 4 hours," and yeah, and I was like, "Oh, it's a lot. It's a lot."
And it's all rapidly coming to an end.
You're going back to school, and
Yes.
we're drying up a little bit on this wonderful content that was really the focus for so long now.
It was that for sure. It was definitely the focus for quite a while. Yeah, man. It's been a crazy odyssey with the Acolyte. Now, our videos have been doing great. We're very happy covering the Acolyte. More people, it seems, have been watching YouTube channels talk about the Acolyte than actually watching the Acolyte.
Yes.
You sent me an incredibly long interview from Collider with Leslie Headland that just hit.
Oof.
I skimmed it, and I'm not even going there.
You can't. You can't. There is just, it's shocking. It's really shocking.
Yeah. So, look, I mean, we're going to get into all that, but you haven't had a chance to really talk about the Acolyte. What do you think? Like, what was your overall feelings? I'm putting you on the spot right here in the beginning.
No, it's fine, right? What I go back to is I just don't understand the purpose of the series and really who the series was for, right? Just given the story that we got, even now that we're all the way at the end of this Sith-centered story that had one somewhat of a Sith and a creepy cave Plagueis
for 2 seconds,
which she has subsequently confirmed was indeed Plagueis.
Yeah.
So, not that I think there is any question, but I'm really struggling. I'm really struggling as to why I care about anything that we saw, right? And I know a lot of people are more invested in Plagueis and some of the other things than I am. So for me, I don't really care so much about that. I really don't like what it did to me for the Phantom Menace and some of the rest of it. So I'm like, I don't understand what it was really about, why I was watching it, and I'm left with that feeling of, so what was the point, right? I mean, what was the point of the whole thing? And then the only character that I would want to see anything more about would be Kamir, the stranger, whatever his real name is.
Could you imagine if somebody asked you what was the Acolyte about and you had to answer them in 15 seconds or less?
Even Leslie Headland can't answer in 15 seconds or less, as evidenced by all of these interviews. So if I had to answer the question now, having seen the whole series, I would say it's about two twins who reconcile. It's about not only reconciling with each other, but reconciling with their past.
But they're not really twins; they're actually the same person. Keep going.
The Jedi are bad. The Sith are misunderstood.
Yeah,
and the Senate doesn't trust anybody.
You did say the Jedi are bad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Doesn't sound like, a show that should have been made. When we got the original premise for it, the Sith, the dark side, a mystery, murder, you're like, okay, all right. Sounds very interesting. I actually like the premise of it all. That's not the way that they build it. That's not what we got at all. This was a show where two people are the same person, that they don't know what they are. They don't know how they are. And they make the good guys bad. That's what the show is.
And I just saw Robert in the chat. I guess I can highlight it, can't I? I just see Robert in the chat also say something about the Knights of Ren. This series had nothing to do with the Knights of Ren, right? It doesn't have the first thing to do with them, and the only
Not
reason,
yet.
not ever, the
Yeah.
reason why Kylo's
You
music.
don't think that Leslie Headland could come out and create that thread next in another season? Sure, she could.
But she's not. That wasn't her plan. Her plan for using that music was to evoke the Raylo, to evoke that.
Yeah, I got that
whole business.
Yeah,
that you know what I mean. That evil lovers, the frenemies, and all of that. So you heard a little bit of Rey's, you heard a lot of Kylo's. But she is not doing anything here, I don't believe, at all with the Knights of Ren. She was just playing up Oshimir.
Because that's what she's all about. Even in the Collider interview that just dropped, guys. It just dropped like an hour ago when Risman sent it to me. And it is incredibly lengthy. Like,
she's so much about it, to the extent that episode 6 didn't exist. Episode 6, with him getting out of the water and her looking at his saber and all that stuff, didn't exist. She totally rewrote that episode once she saw Manny's performance, allegedly, in episode 5. Right? So she leaned into it even more based upon their chemistry and all those things, totally because of that.
Right.
I don't know. Not to mention the bleeding of the lightsaber and some of the other things and what they mean. I mean, the one thing she did explain, why did Basil screw up the ship? Right? This was a good question. She did explain this. Why did Basil? And I guess I knew this, but what Saul was doing was he was targeting May in the ship. He was going to shoot her down. And so Basil knew that's what he was trying to do. And in his mind, he wasn't sure it was right. According to Leslie, she wanted to give Basil his hero moment, because he had seen May imprisoned on the table. He had heard their conversation. And so she felt like that was the right thing to do, to give Basil his hero moment, and then to set the rest of the chain of events in motion. So it was purposeful.
Question. Who else in the world got that?
Nobody. And this is the problem. After every episode, they drop these interviews. 2 or 3 outlets drop these interviews, and they put in there everything you were supposed to get out of the episode, of which none of it is, there's no exposition. It's not scripted. If the scripts were better, if the story was better, I wouldn't have to read all these interviews, and they wouldn't be 10,000 words. That Collider interview goes on for pages. Who cares? I didn't care enough to give it 40 minutes on the screen. Do you think I care enough to give it 20 more minutes reading about what the lightsaber stands for and how Pablo helped her figure out how to bleed it and all the rest of it?
I read that part.
Couldn't care less. And then the more I read, the more angry I get.
Well, nobody looked at the gopher gerbil rat like it was a hero. And
it was a hero
Leslie
moment.
Could say that all she wants, but nobody sees it that way. No one has said that or reviewed it that way. So much about this series is just open to interpretation. I get some things in storytelling where they specifically leave room for interpretation. That can be really good. That could offer a compelling reason for somebody to watch something. Some people enjoy that. I love the symbolic gesture at the very end of The Godfather, where Michael and his wife Kay has this conversation. He lies to her. He goes into his father's office, his office now, and his people, the family, come up to him and they officially call him Don Corleone. And they kiss his hand, and in that moment, he is now the official Godfather, head of only family in New York left because he eliminated all the others. And then what happens, Risman? One of the henchmen walks over to the door and shuts the door as his wife is looking through the doorway. And you can they actually did a camera swipe as if the door was closing her out.
Yeah.
She is closed out of that world, and he is now the Godfather. And when I watch it, I get freaking chills, man. Like, it's such a powerful moment. We got nothing like that, but Leslie Heslin tried like 100 times in 8 episodes.
I mean, her homages, right? Her inspirations, all of the things. Now, Dracula was mentioned, and some of the more obvious ones like The Matrix and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Jedi, and all the rest of it, right? Just one right after the other. I don't think she realizes that when, as an audience, you're consuming all of that familiarity at once, all you're seeing is the other stuff. You're not even seeing the context. You're seeing, well, here's them holding hands with the lightsaber at the end was a Fight Club moment, right? The same way Fight Club meant it. It goes on and on and on. And I'm like,
Predator.
how about an original thought? How about an original?
I didn't know anything about Predator. Predator, Fight Club, Frozen, Gone with the Wind, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It goes, and I said 50 Shades of Grey. She hadn't mentioned it, but it's there.
The Predator moment, part of it was Manny floating down behind. Remember when he floated down? Predator moment, right?
Yeah.
In the jungle, doing mischief, going, all of this stuff. I'm like, it just feels like a bunch of ripoffs strung together with people dressed up cosplaying Jedi, right?
Yeah.
The Jedi at the end, I didn't think they could look any worse. They looked even worse at the end when Mog and she was on. I was like, oh, Lord help. And then, oh, by the way, one of the senators at the table was Leslie Headland.
Oh, I didn't notice.
In it. And if you look closely, she's one of the senators at the end of the table.
Yeah.
When the guy is talking at the end, the chancellor, I was like, shit, there's Leslie Headland in the damn series. It's like, oh, why should I be surprised?
Why should you be surprised? And the thing is like, and I get it, she's not going to say anything different, but to hear her and to read her excerpts from interviews where she's talking about how proud she is. And look, the last paragraph that you sent of that Collider interview, it sounded like there ain't going to be no season 2. She's talking about how grateful she will always be. There was no forward-looking statement about anything more Star Wars. It's just crazy. My brother Knee Pain got it right here, and then I want you to say it. After much reflection, I feel this show is a result of someone who wasn't qualified, that was trying way too hard to look good. Yeah. This is like, if you're following sports, ladies and gentlemen, LeBron James' son averaged 4 points a game in college, and he just got drafted by the Lakers. That's like Leslie Headland directing a Star Wars show. It doesn't fit. You don't have the qualifications. You don't have the skills. You don't have the ability. Not to make Star Wars. This was, look, we have crapped all over the storytelling in Ahsoka. We've crapped all over The Mandalorian season 3. We've crapped all over the Book of Boba Fett. Matt, this one was far worse.
I mean, at least Ahsoka got Thrawn back, right? Through all of the faults of the other series, and as much as I've picked them apart also, when I reflect back at how all of them ended or what they all did, even though some of the decisions we find to be lore adjacent or maybe not always as canonical as we like, or yada, 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 right? They at least accomplished something more story-wise than this series did, to me. And on your point, I I don't think they'll trust her with any money again. Right? Something we've been joking about it the whole time, clearly. But something happened with $125 million, and that's giving her the benefit. I mean, that's saying that they actually spent 55 million on this thing. Right. Although I think they started 45 million in the hole due to accounting problems and lawsuits. And so I know there is some baggage that's tied up in this budget. But I
Right.
think when it comes right down to it, that one guy in Forbes, not your friend Paul Tassi, the other guy, he's like, this is a math problem. The math problem is viewership compared to dollars spent equals no season 2.
You can't move forward. It doesn't make sense.
And that has nothing to do with 15% Rotten Tomatoes, whether you believe it or not. That
Yeah.
just has to do with the fact of the matter of the Nielsen ratings, the Luminate ratings. We have gone far enough now where even if you don't think everyone's doing it consistently, you can at least compare inconsistent sources to themselves. And you can very clearly see when you do those comparisons that the Acolyte is, by all measures, the worst.
Right.
In one measure, it's either at this pace of Andor or slightly ahead. Okay, don't get me started. Right? You asked what people did to cleanse. I had bought Andor season 1 on 4K. I binged it.
Yep. And
that's what I did.
And
it and in one episode, you get Luthen's speech, you get Kino Loy's speech, you got a Mon Mothma's speech, you got it. There's no comparison.
None. I need to go watch the Acolyte. Or bad coach. Bad. I need to go watch Andor.
And in that same episode 10,
I'll just so everybody knows, yes, I've seen Andor. I've not seen it since it dropped.
And in that same episode 10, that's when they break out of the prison. Right? One of the best pieces of television I think I've ever seen.
Right.
And then you juxtapose it to whatever she was playing it. I've never seen Russian Doll. I've never seen anything else that Leslie did. Right? But all I can say is whatever she was doing here for me, she was playing at it. Right? She was, how much can I jam in of things I love and use some esoteric and some other Star Wars things that I care about. And let me tell a familial story here.
Right.
And then at the end, I'll shoot my shot. We'll have a Plagueis. We'll have a Yoda. Poor Yoda. Right.
Sure.
Looked like she disturbed him in the bathroom. Right. What was he, taking a poop? What happened at the end?
And to me, everything about the end was just, and I said it in one of the videos that we did, to me, everything that they did in terms of Yoda, in terms of the last shot, which was really awkward. It's our first, because here's what we found out with Leslie Headland. The Sith are sexy. She has said that multiple times now.
Plagueis was creepy.
The Sith is sexy. And she's really building up the whole relationship between Osha and Kamir, the stranger.
Yes.
And that's why they're holding hands, sharing one lightsaber. And they're looking off into the beyond together, like looking at their future, like Luke looking into the twin suns, the horizon.
Well,
come on, man.
And remember, Coach, it's not just any lightsaber. It's the lightsaber that killed her mother. Right? There's even more significance in that whole business with the lightsaber.
Wow, I did not even realize that.
That is the same, and that's purposeful. Right? But if I hadn't have told you that just now, number one, do we really care?
No.
Number two, if I hadn't have brought it back up, would you caught it?
Never would have been caught by me. Because now I'm never going back to revisit. Why would I go through this show and analyze this show?
Morbid curiosity.
That would be so painful. I had a hard enough time watching it with an analytical lens. I couldn't. I tried. And it was so dumb. I'm like, I'm just watching.
Well, and on the Yoda business, I don't know if you caught it, but in the last episode, she's in the control room, right? And she's on the phone. She's like, can you get him? I need to talk to him. Can you get him a message? And the person on the other end of the phone's like, this is very This is very unusual. I'll see what I can do. She's trying to talk to Yoda. She's trying to get Yoda on the phone. Yoda's like, new phone. Who dis? You don't want to talk to her. That's why she barges in at the end.
New phone. Who this?
She can't get him on the phone. I don't understand. And then they used the Return of the Jedi, the Last Jedi Yoda puppet.
Yeah.
They couldn't. It's the wrong. It's not even the right Yoda for the time period.
That's probably why they didn't show his face. Because just the whole thing. And you knew it was Yoda the moment those doors opened.
I told you Yoda was going to be in it. I told you Yoda was going to be in it.
And the thing is like there's at least 50 people in the world that really loved that. But there's not many.
Well,
there's some people that are like seriously, man. If all you can say is, man, those were great lightsaber fights. We got Darth Plagueis for 2 seconds. We got Yoda at the end, and we got a new relationship between a master and an apprentice. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait for season 2. I don't get it.
So here's for me if you only ever watched the last episode, if you never watched the first 7 episodes of this series and just watched the last one, did you really miss anything? Is there really anything in the first 7 episodes that is at all relevant to what happens at the end? Because everyone that died, we never cared about them. They're not continuing. So why waste your time?
And never even explained why. Why did Torben kill himself?
No idea.
One will ever know unless Leslie tells us.
Maybe he read the rest of the story and he just couldn't go on. I have no idea. But you see what I mean? All you have to do is watch the last episode. The rest of it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter at all. Ladies and gentlemen, we got some super chats and member chats we're going to go through here. Scott Westbrook sends in a $10 super sticker, and it is a fox saying thank you. Thank you, Scott Westbrook. We appreciate that, my brother. Thank you very much. Rogue Sarge with a big $20 super chat. We appreciate our brother Bobby. He says, hello, everyone at EBN. Thank God the Acolyte is over. I feel like we're all saying that. We're all. There's going to be a lot more videos on the Acolyte, especially with this Collider interview that just came out. There's going to be all kinds of media that are going to be picking apart so many things. There's no telling how many articles are going to be made from this one interview.
Listen, they did clarify in the interview that some women have uteruses, Coach. It is quite the interview. They leave no shmee unturned. I mean, she put it all out there. I was like, I cannot believe what I am reading. And then I was like, yeah, I can totally believe it.
It is insane to me that they let this woman have a show. Like, if that doesn't show you the incompetence of Kathleen Kennedy, nothing will.
Remember, she cried, Coach. She cried, right? She must have. I'm speechless, right? To cry about. We all cried for different reasons, right? I don't know what evokes tears from this series. I just don't get it.
Right. Yep. I'm with you. I'm with you. Well, Bobby, we appreciate that big $20 super chat. My friend Sam Aon has rejoined his EBN family. Thank you, brother. Good to have you back. Good to see. Appreciate you posting in the Facebook group your action figures. Like he sets up dioramas, and they're super high quality, man. They look like something from a movie. I mean, they really do. So he goes all out.
Got to meet and spend time with Sam back at the celebration.
Yep, I remember that.
Had a lot of fun.
Very, very cool. Debbie has gifted 5 Echo Base Network memberships. So if you got one of those, thank you, Debbie, for sending those 5 membership gifts. We appreciate that very much. And make sure you guys give her a thank you. That is awesome. And welcome to the member family. Our brother Knee Pain says, I feel like I'm coming off a month-long bender and looking back and trying to piece together what happened. That's exactly how this feels. But you know what? Tonight feels normal. This is the most normal thing I've done on YouTube right here, right now, in the past month.
And
besides making some videos, you know.
and I have to tell you on this point of the bender and the episode lengths, over the first few episodes of Cobra Kai are in the 35 to 42. They're about the same length so far as the episodes for the Acolyte. It's a totally different experience. You know why? Because somebody wrote a story. Somebody wrote a story and fit that into the allotted time.
Right.
So it feels very organic on Cobra Kai as you're consuming it, whereas on the Acolyte it felt very artificial. And even the one writer said, "Well, 5 and 6 were supposed to be together, but we had to cut them for reasons." I'm like, "For reasons?
Yeah.
Just to stretch it out? Are those the reasons?"
Well, I'll tell you what. If they don't come out with an Acolyte season 2, do you know what company is going to take a massive hit? YouTube.
A lot of people. Well, listen. I mean, all deference to our channel here, right? You killed it. We have what, 65, 7,000 new subscribers, I think, as a result of the Acolyte.
We killed it. We covered it.
Killed it.
And, you know, it seems like a lot of people agreed with the coverage too. You know, which we'll get into that later on. But yeah, knee pain. I hear you. Look, speaking of benders, he went on a bender watching episode 3. That was fun, watching him drink a whole bottle of wine as he watched that episode.
Yikes.
It was hilarious. So Justin Jones with a $2 super chat. The Acolyte reminded me of a one-woman play. I feel you, brother. It was terrible. But appreciate that, Justin. Olaf, been a member for 35 months. Decided after demise of Star Wars, I created a new avatar. I like the cats. Very cool, Olaf. Thank you, man. Appreciate the member chat. Vincent Vader with $1.99. Do you think Plagueis and Yoda were added later? No.
As a matter of fact, in one of the interviews, she said, "The only thing I knew I wanted to do the whole time was Plagueis. The only question was, where was she going to put Plagueis?" He
was going to be the final shot.
Yeah.
And then she changed it. And she talks at length about that decision. But yes, they were in it. Plagueis was in it from the beginning, and you just have to assume that Yoda was as well, even though she was lying about it. I get that. I give her a pass for that. I don't care if people are like, "Is Yoda in it?" No, you can't spoil it. Even though I'm talking like in generalities, you can't spoil the Acolyte.
The interesting thing about that is she said, you know, I really wanted to use one of the original, you know, senior Jedis that were around at this time. So she needed to check in with her boss. By the way, in one interview, they lead me to believe that Vernestra, which this makes Yoda look worse, so of course it's true, leads me to believe that Vernestra is going to tell Yoda the truth about what's going on.
Of course, that'll make Yoda look worse.
Yeah. And then, of course, Yoda will do a Yoda cover-up or whatever.
But you know, we'll never find out unless it's in a novel or a graphic novel.
I would be
unless you know what, we need to actually make a poll, guys. I'm going to do a poll real quick. Let's just see how many of you think we will actually get a season 2. Look, there will be no third option. It's yes or no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yes or no. So will the Acolyte get a second season? Yes, no, start poll.
And they ask her in that Collider, the Collider interviewer is like, "What can we do to get the season 2? You know, what can we do?" That's one of the things. That's one of the burning questions she
make a better show,
right?
Invent the time machine and start over. The look, and I'm not trying to help them out here, but it would have been better if the entire series was about Plagueis. You know, the entire series should have been about him. Nobody cares about May and Osha. So I'm going to be interested to see these The poll is up. Do you guys see it?
Let me check it.
Just want to make sure.
Yes, I see it.
All right. Good.
And I voted. All right.
Excellent. All right, let's continue here. Well, Vincent Vader, thank you for that $1.99. We appreciate it. Beretta Road Chronicles, Mood Sabers will be huge. Oh yeah. In Sabers already has lightsabers that do that. They start out with a certain color, and then it changes. They're all preset colors. You can't do it whatever you want. But yeah,
according to the interview, the way it changed was quite purposeful. We'll just leave it at that. In keeping with the rest of it.
Explain.
I don't want to be overly graphic, but the equation that they made with the lightsaber.
Pretend you're a science teacher.
With the phallicness of what they were trying to accomplish with the lightsaber, if you go back and look at the way it changed color, it makes it worse.
Leslie Headland has to sexualize everything because that's all she cares about.
There was a few things in the article that were confirmed that I thought, oh, you could take it one way or the other. And between her and the interviewer, they're like, no, there's only one way to take this.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely the way to me that's so antithetical to Star Wars, right? The sexualization of several things to me that happened in this series is the biggest turnoff. And mind you, I'm no prude, right? But it doesn't belong in Star Wars. It doesn't need to be.
No.
It doesn't even need to be a side note. It doesn't even need to be an afterthought, let alone the main goal or a focus. It's just disgusting.
Right. I could not agree more. Let's see here. Thank you, Beretta Road Chronicles. Everybody, real quick, this is such a good question from Nora in chat. Obi-Wan series or this? I've seen some people asking those questions like, come on, bro. The Acolyte's not worse than Book of Boba Fett. Like, that was one of our comments. And I'm like, I would rather watch the Book of Boba Fett any day than this. This for me was rock bottom. I don't expect everybody to agree with me. So if you all will just post the name of the worst live action series we've gotten. It can even be a season. If it's Mando season 3 for you, that's fine. The worst singular season in Star Wars live action history. Please post that in the chat. I want to see what your answers are. Acolyte times 10. Risman says the Acolyte. Acolyte. Wow. Acolyte. The Ejaculite. Acolyte, the worst, hands down. Acolyte. 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 Acolyte is the worst. Obi does the most damage. Now so that's a great point of view. That's a great point, period. That's kind of similar to saying which one was worse, the Acolyte or the Last Jedi. Well, the Last Jedi had a way more terrible impact for me as a singular fan than anything the Acolyte did. The Last Jedi devastated me. But I'm with you. That's a fine answer there for sure. Acolyte's the worst. Acolyte.
By the way, Coach, I saw Veritech 2000 said Andor. You might not be able to see that because I've banned them now from the channel. But they said Andor.
Oh, I see it. It's next. Andrew Wall, Kenobi is the worst in the sense people actually cared and had an idea expectation for the show. That's it. Yeah, that's well said there. Thank you, Andrew. Veritech, Andor. Got him. Rebecca, Kenobi, Acolyte. That's good. I like that. So look, it's overwhelming.
You know what I didn't see one of yet, Coach? Did I see anyone say Book of Boba Fett?
It looks like the people, and I don't know this, I'm just generalizing. It looks like the people who had an issue with Kenobi, it was more of a canonical issue, legacy character issue, and that doesn't go away. That sting will remain.
Yeah.
So if Kenobi was your least liked show, it probably still is. Nobody had those reasons for Boba Fett. Boba Fett was silly and goofy, and he was kind of made a side character in his own show.
Well, we also were led to believe that we would get kick-ass Boba Fett from his Mandalorian entry, right? And we would really see a bounty hunter show. Now, again, nobody told us that, right? Those were leaks, those were speculations, but a lot of us went into that thinking, okay, we're going to get kick-ass Boba because that's the last version of what we've seen. It makes sense for him to team up with other bounty hunters, yada, yada, yada. And then we got anything but that, right? We got Dances with Tuskens. We got the Great Kitchen Chase and the shaking of a droid, right? We got Very Furry and Pelimoto. I mean, you know what I mean? I could go the Vespa bikes, like a Bantha. So I do agree with you, and I see people in the chat are like, "Well, Boba's bad. It's just a different kind of bad."
Agreed.
I could go with that, right? Yeah. For me, I put Acolyte first and Boba second, as far as the ones that I put as the worst.
The Acolyte is so bad for me. This is just me, but it's so bad that it almost makes the Book of Boba Fett average. It doesn't. Book of Boba is still bad, but it's like almost when it was so rock bottom for me, and now.
Also, I'm reminded that some people give a Book of Boba Fett more of a pass because you do have 2 Mando episodes.
Two great episodes.
You do have a bit of Luke, right? Even though I think whatever ended up happening there was, you know what I mean? So there were some non-Boba Fett things. There was some non-Boba Fett things in the Boba Fett series that I know it redeems it for some folks. But for me, it's a cop-out, right? It was the Book of Boba Fett.
Yep. Very, very true. Well, Nora, that was a great question, and we appreciate you bringing that up. That's a great little topic of conversation there. Tim McClelland with $10. I understand it takes a lot of time and effort to cover this headache, and I just wanted to thank the EBN and show some support. Dude, thank you so much, man. Like, just say it. Sending in the super chat is lovely. Thank you very much. But just saying thank you in a comment means so much. It really was our pleasure. We, like we say here in the South, we had a ball watching it and reporting on it because it was so crazy. It was horrible. It was hilariously bad. It's not rewatchable at all. I will never be able to go back. It was only funny and hilarious the first time. I can't do it again. You know what I mean? Like I can't. That's why we got our Patreon. You could go there and see any episode in its entirety and see our authentic reactions. You should have seen Derek when they saw Yoda.
You should have seen your face when you saw Yoda. You were also, because you were like, you were dumbfounded.
I didn't.
You were dumbfounded.
It was the perfect ending to the worst show ever. Yeah. I thought Leslie Headland, boy, if I had a rock and she was across the street. I'm telling you. Not really. But, you know. Tim, thank you so much. That means more than I could ever say. Me and Nick and Matt appreciate that very much. Thank you. TGTV Tank Mode with a $5 super chat. If the Acolyte gets canceled like the Halo show did today, 2 seasons, and then Halo,
canceled.
You know, which had not one person playing the games, would it mean the Acolyte is no longer canon? Canon is what you make of it, but there is the official Disney canon, something that they make, that they acknowledge. So it's always going to be that.
Well, and also some people have said, well, do we think it's going to get the Willow treatment? You know, the Willow treatment.
Then is it canon? That's the question.
And that's why
I think they pull it from Disney Plus.
I think it cannot get the Willow treatment for a couple of reasons, but that's the primary one, right? If they Willow it, then all of a sudden it's in my opinion, it's decanonized the minute it's gone.
Agreed. So let me ask you a question. Everybody here knows that I am, and Nick as well, easily original trilogy fans first. I mean, miles. I have a love-hate relationship with the prequels. Some of the people here probably just heard me say hate. I also said love. Okay. I love them too. Um, but they're nothing like the original trilogy for me. No comparison. As a matter of fact, I'll say that the main reason why people didn't like the prequels is because it didn't feel like the original trilogy at all. And you could slice that up however you want to, with maybe like the exception of the music and some stuff. Anyways, all that set aside. Where the heck was I going with that?
I'm not sure, to tell you the truth. Were you
Okay,
gonna,
yeah, I
you
know.
were gonna compare? I think I do know.
What's
Yeah.
this? What are your thoughts about Plagueis? What are your thoughts about what she said in this interview? Shmi, Qui-Gon, Palpatine, the creation of Anakin. What's coming down the pipe? Are they really going to try to create it, and it be in official Disney canon that the Emperor had Anakin created?
So the creation of Anakin, and this is, I know there's been a lot of discussion of this lately, right? But the creation of Anakin was the Force's response to the perversion of the Force, right? To what they were trying to do to create life. And so through the evil workings of the dark side and the experiments and the things they were doing, the Force is like, you're going to screw around with this. Guess what? I'm going to balance you out. I'm going to create Anakin, and for whatever reason, the Force chose Shmi to carry Anakin. Right? What Leslie said in this interview, which is another thing that I'm very sorry she had to confirm. Right? What she said in this interview was that she finds it much more interesting to the story to imply that Plagueis came by his knowledge of how to do that with the Force by studying what these witches did.
So, in other words, had it not been for the Acolyte coven of witches,
correct,
there would never have been Anakin.
Because in her own words, women get it done, right? Women.
She made it about that. Sure did.
Women are the ones with the uteruses. They're the ones that carry children. If they have a notion, someone's going to do it. Women get it done. And so it makes sense. It started with female witches. It makes sense that creepy Plagueis is around. You saw Camille perk up. There's still some question about whether Camille and Plagueis are acquainted. The interviews are not super clear on that, but I tend to think they're not acquainted.
So
there's stuff going on, right, with Plagueis and Tenebris and fooling around with the Force and Chimere and
all right. So speak to me on this, because I'm struggling here. I had no idea that my light was on my.
Oh no, your battery's gonna go.
So let me charge my phone.
And Justin, I think Justin Jones said, well, obviously a man can't carry the chosen one in his womb. Yes, clearly, right? But the point being,
hang on. This is Disney. It could happen.
But the point being, she wasn't disputing the anatomical business of how a child is carried. She was stipulating that it wasn't just some one night stand. She was stipulating that it wasn't some guy happened by and Shmi ended up pregnant, and that's where the chosen one came from. Right. She was just merely saying that maybe Shmi had a hand in manifesting or encouraging the Force to use her as a vessel, because that's what a woman can do.
So here's my question. How can you reconcile, for me, if you're the storyteller?
And by the way, let me make sure I'm clear. I am just recounting. You can read the article, and we can find the article and post it. This is not Matt Rispin saying anything.
Oh yeah, this is
Right.
Leslie
This
Headland's
is
words.
exactly what
Yeah.
Leslie Headland said in the article related to why it was important to her to position Plagueis here, to have it be witches, to have it do all of these things. And then she threw in Shmi as a kicker. Just when you didn't think it could be any worse, she had to Shmi us.
That is hilarious. Are you saying Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball? All right. So how do you reconcile Palpatine has Anakin created, and yet the Jedi are all about the fulfillment of the prophecy
But
that they see as a good thing?
but Anakin's creation was not intentional. Anakin's the only
But
the
you don't
only
think that they're going to do that?
no,
That's what.
I don't.
Okay.
I
All
don't.
right.
I don't.
I
I don't
hope
think she.
not.
I don't think she has any intention of upsetting the reason why the chosen one came, and the fact that Anakin was the chosen one, not these twins. Right? She's been on record about that. The
Yeah.
thing I'm taking issue with is they are now very clearly saying, if it wasn't for these witches, and if it wasn't for this failed experiment, right, that somehow Plagueis was privy to, we wouldn't have been able to get to the point where they had the experiment that went wrong, that caused the Force to react, to have the chosen one created in Shmi.
Right. That excellent point. And Kudzai makes a really good comment here. Coral still being alive means another loose end. Who knows how to create more of these Force babies? Now
Yeah.
that's, I mean, good Lord, but you're absolutely right. That's a way out. That's a way into season 2 right there. You know,
Well, she's implied that Mother Coral ends up on Dathomir,
and for
right?
all
So
we know, Plagueis is going to come walking out using some brand new Force ability, reviving the witches that have been dead for 20 years. Who knows what's going to happen? As outrageous as that sounds.
maybe Coral's Maul's mama, right? There's so many other things they could do, right? But Coral's not dead, no body, no death, right? And because she was very clearly Zabrak, right? And then she said, "Well, you can probably figure out where she ends up." And I'm like, I don't care as long as she don't end up back in this series. So I don't care where she, I don't care
Exactly.
where she ends up.
Bicycle.
Right,
Get out.
bicycle, exactly.
So look, I just want to break in here real quick and just tell everybody, I don't think I announced it at the top of the show. We are having Jedi Master and Grandmaster pop-ins tonight. So if you would like to join us here on the live stream, we will be sending out the link over on the community tab. Join us for pop-ins tonight, and you could give us your take on all things Acolyte. I had no idea that this stream was going to turn into so much Acolyte.
I know, because
talk.
we had all those other cool things to talk about.
We do
too.
have cool things, and we could still run through them too. Like, we're not, that's fine. But as a matter of fact, I think some of it's important. Let's see. But TGTV, thank you, brother, for sending in that $5 awesome super chat. Were you upset that Halo was canceled? I never watched it.
Me neither.
But I love Halo Combat Evolved. Maybe I ought to go give it a watch. Justin Jones, $2. Is Yoda negligent or complicit? Is he evil now? Man, we don't know. And I don't know if Leslie Headland knows that. However, what did she say in one of these last articles? She always viewed them as flawed. That's the word that she used. She said she has always seen the Jedi as flawed. And I'm like, so when were the Jedi flawed in the original trilogy?
Well, so the our introduction and our real focus on Jedi in the original trilogy isn't many Jedi, right? It's how we evaluate Kenobi and Yoda, right? And to some extent Darth Vader, but not really, right? And then of course, how Luke takes what we feel like is the best parts of what they're trying to teach him, and then embodies becoming a Jedi Master. But also remember, Ben and Yoda lied to Luke. They manipulated. They even in the original trilogy, they did some things that they felt like were the right things to do. They weren't being evil and sinister,
But they
right?
had to lie to Luke until
Well, this is
it was
my
time.
we're making the same point that I think Leslie is twisting, in my opinion, right? No one ever said Jedi were infallible, right? They're not gods. They're not
Sure.
perfect,
Sure.
right? But they are clearly the light in this galaxy, right? They epitomize the light side of the Force,
Yeah.
the good in the good versus evil,
Right.
right? They're portrayed in this series as a bunch of bumbling dunderheads who can't find their, you know what I mean? They can't find their way out of a paper bag, right? And they're dying all over the place. And yes, in the High Republic, there were a lot of Jedi, and apparently in the High Republic stories, a lot of them die. Okay, fine, but I don't think they all died as stupidly as what happens here, and they were certainly never referred to as red shirts. And just don't get me started, right? So to me, there's a big difference in how the Jedi are portrayed to start with in the original trilogy, and then even as they're in their downfall in
Yeah.
the prequels. That's a whole different bit of business than
Yeah.
what we saw here.
I agree. All well said. You're right. The Jedi did lie. Obi-Wan and Yoda weren't straight up with Luke, in the original trilogy, but there was no deception, and you
Mhm.
didn't walk away. There wasn't deception in terms of you walk away feeling that Obi-Wan and Yoda are bad, wrong, evil, what have you. They had a reason to withhold that until the time was right. In this show, it's Leslie Headland. Her words were, "The Jedi have always been flawed." It's like she took every opportunity to show them as being bad as she could.
And the motivation in the series time and time again was self-preservation. Was the Jedi were afraid to be managed, right? They were very, you know what I mean? They were very Senate averse, and they were sort of, so it was the reason why they were not honest in this series was, with the exception of Saul, right? And it only got him, not only did it get him killed, but it also got him his forever tarnished, right? The one guy who genuinely thought he was trying to do the right thing and who reacted in exactly a way as I thought would have been perfectly okay in the circumstances is the one who ended up dying for it and then getting his name smeared through the mud and blamed for everything by his best friend at the
Right.
end of this whole
Right.
thing. Right. So yeah, the Jedi in the series, if this was my entrance to Star Wars and this was my
Oh,
could you imagine if this was the first Star Wars series you saw
we've
and
been saying it the whole time.
your first introduction to the
We've
Jedi?
been saying it the whole time. How many people on this earth are going to be able to grow up and say, "I became a fan with the Acolyte"? I'm here because of the Acolyte's my favorite.
I couldn't imagine.
If the Acolyte is your favorite Star Wars, no disrespect, I have to question how you view the rest of Star Wars. I have to. And I know somebody that's going to want to speak on that. Let's bring in the boss. I'll be right back.
Oh, feel the boss. That's what it should be. Feel the boss. All right, guys. So I've been tied up on a work project, the same project that delayed us on Tuesday night that got rescheduled for tonight, and we're still having problems. And I got to jump back on it at 9 o'clock. So I'm literally going to be here for an hour. I don't know if Coach and Matt will keep going or not, but
yeah,
I'm here for an hour. Let's go ahead and knock out some of these super chats.
I think let's see. We've done, where are we at? Yep, this was the last one we just covered, so we can knock this one out. This one we covered. Yep.
All right, NB Geeks Bar and Grill for $5. This was the worst. Just that I will watch Andor season 2, but pretty much done. Yeah, I mean, me and Coach we'll keep watching all the garbage that they throw at us. Unfortunately, so you guys don't have to. And if it's good, we'll tell you guys like, hey, this is actually pretty good. You guys should check this one out. But yeah, if it wasn't for this channel, I wouldn't watch anything. I would Andor season 2. I would probably check out, but that would probably be about it. As far as what they got coming down the pipeline.
Don't forget about Skeleton Crew, Nick. It's going to be a treat.
Oh God. I have zero faith or hope in that, but who knows, man? Maybe I don't see how it can get any worse than the Acolyte. So, I mean, the only place you can go is up from here, right?
Yeah, and I mean, on the point we were just making, right? If you did for some reason enter into Star Wars on the Acolyte, you're going to be hella confused, right? In the next series coming out, Skeleton Crew, a whole different time frame, probably no Jedi. You know what I mean? It's going to be you're going to be like, what in the hell is going on now?
Yeah. If it's confusing for Star Wars fans that somewhat know the lore of the movies and the shows and stuff, you know, not including the books because we're not big EU guys, but it was confusing for us. So for somebody that knows nothing, man, they're probably completely lost on what's going on. You know, I somebody that knows nothing, I don't even know how they got through this whole show.
If they were in it for the love story, Nick, that would have to be it.
Great love story, by the way. But thank you, NB Geeks Bar and Grill, for that. Olaf, hail to you, good sir. Coach, after 6+ hours at FT,
Film threat. Talking about the Star Wars
luxury eulogy.
Yeah, Star Wars.
I'm sure he is listening, Olaf. So, and I'm sure he appreciates that. If you guys did not see our eulogies, I did post mine and Coach's in a video on our channel. That when they showed them, when we did them over on Film Threat. If you guys aren't subbed to Film Threat, go check them out. Alan and Chris are great over there. Mark Miller, Corrupt R for $5. So do you guys think once Star Wars is totally dead, it is totally dead already, but Disney will sell it or just hang on to it and do nothing with it? I mean, they got Galaxy's Edge. I honestly don't see them selling it. Do you, Matt?
Yeah, I think there's zero chance that they'll. I think there's zero chance that they'll sell it, and I think that there's also zero chance that they'll stop making content. Right?
Yeah.
What that content, where that content will be, whether it goes back to just movies and very little, maybe animated on Disney Plus, but they're too invested in it now to sell it.
Yeah, I don't see. From a profit standpoint, I don't see what Lucasfilm is doing for Disney, honestly. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. They'll just keep bleeding the Disney funds, I guess.
Yeah.
And it'll be what it'll be. Legendary Tron member for 38 months. Hail to you, Tron. Check your phone text and act like sucks. I guess that was for Coach.
Probably for Coach, yeah.
Once again, I'm sure he's probably listening. So, and I'm sure he's probably checking that. So thank you for that, Tron. Tiny Film Productions for $10. Would not be surprised if Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant thought flesh sabers were a real thing, so she made it a real thing in the show. Right, what you know, right? Pretty much flesh sabers. I'm lost. What is
there's been some. There was an article that broke just shortly before the stream this evening where Leslie Headland describes the phallic nature of lightsabers and the bleeding of the saber and the way it changed from blue to red and some other things to be quite purposeful. So there may be some comments here related to this.
I have not seen that. That's in regards to the Collider interview she did.
Yeah, the one that I just dropped.
Yeah, I need to check that out. Did you watch the whole thing, Matt?
It's a read it. It's not a video. It's a very long read it. It's from the same person that's been doing these post-ep. It's one of these things where you need a 25-page interview to pick up on all the things that you couldn't understand in the show because the script sucks so bad. It's that kind of, it's one
Wow.
of those interviews. It's one of those interviews.
Wow. Okay. Did you read the whole thing?
Unfortunately.
Was there anything worth?
We talked about a few things here. One of the things you'll probably appreciate is, why did Basil break the ship? Right, that's a big one. You know, Leslie wanted Basil to have his hero moment, and she said that he knew that
How's that a hero moment?
because Saul was about to shoot Saul was about to shoot May down. Sorry, May was escaping, and I don't know if you caught it, but he was using the targeting thing, and he was about to shoot her down.
Yeah.
And Basil apparently was like, "Well, you just had her cuffed to a table, and you're telling her about all these terrible things you did. I don't think you should shoot her down." So he breaks the ship on purpose to save her, and that's heroic.
Wow, I totally got that from watching the episode.
That's why even the interviewer was like, "I have one burning question: why did Basil break the ship?" Even the interviewer didn't.
Yeah,
didn't know.
Good, such terrible writing, man. Oh God. Olaf for another €2. I said book of barely fed, watched first 2 episodes.
Coach had asked the chat to type which series they thought has been the worst, and I passed a remark that I didn't see a lot of acolytes, right, but not many people said Book of Boba Fett. So this took us down a conversation of, well, Book of Boba Fett's a different kind of bad, and it's not. You know what I mean? And then Olaf was like, "No, I said it was the worst one. I said Book of Boba Fett said it was the worst
The Acolyte makes Book of Boba Fett look like Citizen Kane at this point. I'm like, hell, get Robert Rodriguez back. Bring Ron Johnson back at this point. It's like, God, that was so terrible. Thank you for that, Olaf. Olaf, again, for €6. I'm indifferent about the prequels, maybe because I didn't grow up with them, or the games and books I played 20 plus years after OT release before prequels. Yeah, I am kind of in the same boat. Like, I have a different appreciation for the prequels, especially after the sequels. I've said that thousands of times on the channel here. But yeah, I mean, they're part of George Lucas Star Wars. So what are you gonna do?
Phantom Menace is not one of my favorite movies, but I have to say I think I enjoyed it the most when I went to see it on the 25th anniversary re-release. Of course, that might have just been the nostalgia of seeing it back on the big screen and some of the other stuff that's been going on. But yeah, I'll take I'm a big fan of Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, right? The Phantom Menace is just my tough one.
Yeah, I liked them in reverse order. So episode 3, 2, 1. But the lightsaber battle with Maul at the end is my favorite lightsaber battle out of the whole entire
franchise. I mean, it's not as good as the Forest lightsaber battle in the Acolyte, right?
Oh yeah, that one. Oh God.
And the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Jedi, flying through the air, Matrix, and the last episode.
And we can't forget the rematch of the century of Vader and Kenobi again in Kenobi, where he, did the freaking Force Rock throw at him, and it's like, what is happening here? But anyways, Mandalore 41 for $5. I'd like to thank Leslie. I had been physically unable to watch episode 1 for over a decade. I went back and watched it last week. It was a masterpiece. Yeah. I almost wonder if George knew that they were going to make this so bad, just so that people would be like, oh, maybe George's prequels weren't as bad as we thought, because all the Disney stuff is getting way more hate than the prequels ever got. Would you agree with that, Matt?
Oh, wow. By 1,000,000%. Right. And I think, everyone just thought it, well, not everyone, but a lot of people thought it was coincidental. And now I'm not so sure. His whole commentary when he was getting his award about nobody understanding the Force like he does, and people sort of losing their way. I'm starting to wonder now if they didn't give him a preview of the whole damn thing, and he just was so shell shocked after having watched The Acolyte and he took that opportunity to voice it in a very, again, he was technically referring about Empire Strikes Back, but you know what I mean, voicing in a very sort of sly kind of a way, but because this series was something else related to a lot of those core concepts.
Did y'all think I got Tormund again?
Yeah.
We knew you'd be back.
Nick, I've been waiting on dinner. It got here late, so I
Mhm.
went and scarfed it down.
Oh no.
Smoky Joe with Mexican cornbread and Wisconsin beer cheese
Oh.
soup from the brick.
Brick. Yep.
Oh.
As soon as you said
Oh.
Smoky Joe, I knew exactly where it was going.
So I got to tell you, I walked in there to eat my sandwich real quick, and my kids are in there watching Cobra Kai, season 5, episode 8. I walk in, and
that's last season.
Chosen looks at Daniel, and they're talking to Sam. Sam's getting ready to fight Tori. Chosen says to Daniel, "The reason I lost to you in Karate Kid 2 is because I was fighting against, you were fighting for." And then he went on to explain, you were fighting for your friends, for your all this and all that. And I was like, that one little moment that I just happened to walk in there and see is better than anything Leslie Headland did.
Yeah, by far.
He's already had a couple of words of wisdom that'll impact you in the same way at the lead off in this newest season. So they've kept the writing. I was happy to see
watching it tomorrow.
That writing up.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it tonight when I get done with work.
Like I was telling Coach Nick, the episodes are like 35, 40 minutes for Cobra Kai, and it's a night and day's difference in what you get out of the episodes and how they feel and all of that compared to the piddly nonsense we've been getting for same amount of time in the Acolyte. Just night and day.
I'm sure. Ryan Conway, Yoda's a drug dealer.
I saw that and I started. It was funny.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ryan.
Beretta Road Chronicles for $4.99. If we learned anything these 8 weeks, our logical reasoning for this show's story has been completely wrong because the writers are illogical. Not wrong. I can't disagree with anything you said there.
That right there is so much bigger than just the Acolyte and trying to figure out an episode.
Mm-hmm.
We say it here all the time. You can't use logic and reason when you're trying to predict what Lucasfilm is going to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to do a season 2 at all. But you know what? They're making money at their parks. It all balances itself out. Whatever. Here you go, Kathy. Kathy Kennedy does whatever Kathy Kennedy wants to do. And if she wants to do a second season of The Acolyte, I'm sure she'll justify it.
Well, and remember, originally, this was supposed to be their flagship go forward. Remember that whole lawsuit? And the lady was so upset about it, and she was signed on for multiple seasons and yada, yada, yada. So I think this was supposed to be not only 2 seasons, but this was going to be their Mandalorian, right there. You know what I mean? From a keep it going standpoint. And so at this point, I just don't see how they could do it. As illogical as they are, it just costs too much, and I don't think they have nothing to show for it.
Look at that.
There you go.
Real Star Wars.
That's old school.
Luke Skywalker and Yoda, the Jedi Master.
That's an OG Return of the Jedi mug, isn't it?
It is, but look at this. Look at it. You ready? You ready?
Oh, it's the 40th anniversary.
They remade it.
Mm-hmm.
It is an OG, but and I was like, must have.
Yeah.
Favorite coffee mug I've ever owned. You'll never see the Grogu one ass again.
Yeah, let the wife or kids use that one.
Greg C., thank you so much. Saying great eulogy yesterday during the funeral marathon. And Nick did a great one as well, live. Mine was easy. I messed mine up and edited. Made a few edits.
Yeah,
had to do it live.
Yeah, I do it
people.
live. Do it live.
Gotta do it.
And you looked way better than me. Like I was like, oh, Nick remembered to wear a hat. I was looking like a doofus, but whatever.
You did look ridiculous with those sunglasses.
Shut up. I had to wear the sunglasses because I was reading.
I know.
Yeah, same.
You know?
Same.
I don't be like, we stand here today.
Yeah.
I want to do that.
Same. Yeah. Sutton Creek Productions for $10 Canadian. When I watched The Phantom Menace on opening day, I never expected that it would be as good as any of the originals. The Darth Maul fight was one of the best lightsaber fights ever done. Enough said. I agree. I actually thought it was going to be just as good as the OT films. When I was seeing the trailers and stuff, I was going into it like this is like, because Star Wars, Empire, Return of the Jedi, I loved all three, and I just thought this was going to be a continuation, just another great Star Wars film, So my expectations were super high.
Yeah.
And
it
ended up,
never crossed my mind that it wasn't going to be as good as the original trilogy, because George Lucas was bringing Star Wars back to the movie theater, and this time I get to go see it.
yeah.
Because remember, you and I were born in 79. We missed
The first two.
the super golden age, 77, when it happened, when it took the world over. We weren't there.
No.
We came in late, and I will always be jealous. I wouldn't trade my Star Wars experience for anybody's.
Yeah.
But there will always be this fascination with when you hear people who are here tonight. I was there in 77. I was there on opening night. Well, I saw it on day 3, but I saw it.
Mhm.
Like, I will always have a tinge of jealousy in a respectful way. You know what I mean? You are truly the OG lifeblood of the franchise, and nobody can take that away.
Yep. Yeah, I saw my very first time seeing Star Wars that I remember was Return of the Jedi in the theater.
Mhm.
So I saw Return of the Jedi before I saw Star Wars or Empire.
I saw it on tape when I was 4.
Yeah.
So it was 83 when Jedi came. Jedi was new when I fell in love with it. But I knew the toys were on the aisles.
Yeah.
I knew it was something. And I think that was the draw. Like, I'm getting to rent a movie. I want to watch this one, this Star Wars. I see all the toys on the aisle. Hell, I got some of the toys.
Yeah, the toys were cool.
Yeah. And that's when it happened, man.
Man, the Star Wars toys back in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, man, it was the hottest toys on the planet.
Somebody asked me the other day, they were like, how did you know? It was my nephew, actually. He was like, how did you know, like, you were going to be able to have Star Wars toys and collect and make money on those? Like, what is it about? And I was like, bro, there are no toys like these. Like, these were the ones that people were going crazy for, and it's never stopped.
Yeah.
And it's not just any Star Wars toy. It's Kenner, 77 to 85.
Mhm.
The end.
No.
Anyways, good stuff.
Yep. Jedi Punk 85 for $5. If they do make season 2, they need to send Leslie Headland to a different galaxy far, far away from it. She clearly doesn't know Star Wars. Yeah, I would agree. And the thing is, maybe they do an Acolyte season 2, and maybe they get a whole different. They kick her to the curb, get somebody else to come in and run it, and get all new writers. Maybe season 2's marginally better. I don't see how anything could be any worse. But yeah.
And it's not that I'm not looking for a season 2.
Yeah, me neither.
Things I think they could do in season 2, if they really did focus on Khmer training Osha, if they really did focus on a true mystery where Venestra is searching for Khmer, right? If they did do a Plagueis in Tenebris, I'm not saying any of it they would do well, clearly. But I'm saying they left some things that could be interesting in a season 2 that doesn't involve any of the nonsense of killing these other Jedi and all the stuff that the first 7 episodes didn't matter, right? If we just look at where they left the 8th episode and move it forward, I think someone could tell a story there. It just doesn't need to be Leslie Headland.
Yeah. Yep. Do not disagree. Chris Reed for $2. What would Disney Star Wars be like by 2030? Probably more of the same of what we're getting right now.
Fewer and fewer fans.
Yeah, I mean, I see less and less people. I mean, the damage, the brand damage done to Star Wars at this point is just astronomical. Like nobody, and especially like the younger generation, it's not being talked about.
No.
People aren't excited for the next movie to go get in line and get their opening day tickets, go out and get the merch and the toys and the shirts. None of that is going on.
But they do like Marvel, son.
Oh, they're excited
Yeah.
about Deadpool and Wolverine.
Even though
I don't know
Marvel's
if they're-
nothing like what it was,
Yeah.
the younger generation have way more of a connection to Marvel than anything Star Wars.
Yeah.
Now, I
Well,
know we're speaking in generalities here. Like, there's going to be some exceptions.
Well, and they're pouring it all into Marvel right now, right? They're gonna ride Deadpool and Wolverine's coattails. I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a fun movie. Is it gonna be a good movie? I don't know, but I think we're gonna have a blast watching it.
Yeah.
Right? They're gonna ride those coattails. They're gonna deal with whatever happens with with Captain Falcon and Harrison Red Hulk.
God,
Right?
that-
Whatever that's gonna be. Right. And then we're going to really see what they do if they're bringing the Russos back. And they seem to really be putting all their efforts into resuscitating and reviving Marvel. And from a Star Wars standpoint, they don't seem to be doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going and seeing Captain Falcon is like going to see a Miles Morales Spider-Man movie for me.
Right.
It's not Captain America.
So Marvel might be dead right now. I totally get it. I agree. But you take a 15-year-old boy today, he grew up on Marvel.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, 'cause
that's
it all
his,
kicked off
that's
in
his
08.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know, I know a lot of adolescents. I'm a school teacher. I know a lot of kids that love those Marvel movies from back a few years ago.
Yeah, 2008 to from first Iron Man all the way to Endgame. That
Yep.
I don't see a property having that kind of successful run again ever in my lifetime.
It's going to have to be insanely good. You know, Dune was such a niche thing.
Yeah.
It resonates for me. I'm
Yeah.
all about it. I love it. It's so superior to Disney Star Wars from any angle you want to go.
Oh yeah.
I think Denis Villeneuve's Dune, the first two movies, have been fabulous. But no, not even that is even close. Not even a sliver of the type of impact Star Wars had back decades ago.
Yeah. 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 It was a worldwide cultural phenomenon.
Well, and also remember Marvel, theatrically, Marvel had such a run of blockbusters, right? They did so many things that really kept it current, that kept it in the vernacular, that kept people engaged. Coach, the same kids you're talking about, they could care less about whether these shows hit or not on Disney Plus. They don't give a shit.
So the Russo brothers coming back for Avengers 5 and 6. No hope.
The thing is, so the Russos, there was two writers, Mark, I can't remember his last name, and I can't remember his last name either, but they came on and did Winter Soldier with the Russos, which was their first Marvel movie, which is my favorite Marvel movie. And then of course they did Infinity War and Endgame. Which I love Infinity War. Endgame, I was kind of,
I look at it as it's one movie.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
But the thing is, they had a good foundation going into that. Marvel has been destroyed at this point in time, and those writers are gone. They've been gone. So what they have to work with now, I don't know if they could even save the MCU at this point. I mean, what are they going to do? Bring the Marvels back in, and then bring the Eternals and all these other.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody cares about any of that.
That's not the answer.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know if they can fix it.
Marvel isn't great enough to where they can't rely on their primary characters.
Yeah.
And if you're
Yeah.
relying on your secondary characters to deliver shows and
Well,
movies, it's not working.
The secondary, you're right. The secondary characters only work in an ensemble. Right? That's the magic, right?
Yeah.
That's the magic of how they made those work. And the minute they started doing these one-off bad ones, right? I'm like, oh, just give me them all together again. Why did you break something that was working? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so if they can get back to the original recipe, it's a very similar thing as to Star Wars, right? I think Marvel is better poised to do that because they're still more cohesively organized. There's no cohesion at Star Wars.
No.
Marvel,
No.
as bad as Marvel is, like the shape that they're in right now, they're so far ahead of Lucasfilm, it's not even funny.
Oh yeah.
Like it's not.
Yeah.
We're talking about bottom of the barrel
Yeah.
Lucasfilm.
And by the way, Agatha all along ain't going to save Marvel. That's for damn
Nope.
sure, right?
Definitely not.
We still have a couple of stinkers in the chamber, right?
Yeah.
That we're going to have to get
Yeah.
through.
Yeah, and
You know
neither
what
is
I
Captain
mean?
Falcon. It's not going to save it either. But yeah,
putting Giancarlo Esposito in Captain Falcon might have been the best thing they've done. Right.
Yeah.
At least there's someone on the screen now I enjoy watching. I mean, all deference to Harrison Ford, but how many times do I need to see him be the president? He was already the president and it was awesome.
Right.
I don't need to see it again.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, do you guys remember when Civil War came out and like we were like Spider-Man's coming into the MCU now? Like how exciting that was. And it's like, wow, now Spider-Man's going to be part of it. Then we'll go into the Avengers film where like Spider-Man, Thor, Captain America. I'm like, man, it was freaking awesome. You know, and then you had Hugh Jackman and a lot of the people over at Fox like wanting them to do a collab, and they wanted to come into the MCU as well. Like, God,
the last Spider-Man movie was a serious treat on opening night.
Oh yeah, it was huge.
Being able to see all three of them together.
Yeah.
But see, the thing is like when you have those teams of all those superheroes, like you talked about, Nick, like they're bringing Spider-Man in, and you get all of them: Iron Man, Spider-Man, Thor. You know, it eventually loses its luster, maybe. I don't think it ever did, but they just couldn't keep doing it, and they weren't going to keep paying those guys. What Robert Downey Jr.'s $50 million on the front end. I don't know, man. And the whole thing about
That's my boss.
Okay. The whole thing about the bringing in, hey, he's me. The whole thing about, oh gosh, what was I supposed to say? Oh, the alternate universes.
I just saw it. Someone in the chat said the multiverse was the downfall of Marvel, and I couldn't agree. More.
It worked for that one film. It worked for that one film, bringing all three Spider-Men together, and that's it. Get out of it. Don't do it anymore. You know, that really was something special. But over and over again.
Well, the second Doctor Strange, it really started, the multiverse stuff really started going off the rails for many people. And for me, I was like, I never thought I would hate Doctor Strange as much as I hated him in Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah. Yep. I'm with you. All right. Well, let's keep rolling. Ryan, thank you very much for sending that $5 super chat in, man. We appreciate it. Venger sends in a 10-pound super chat. House of the Dragon Theory. Is Alice Rivers, the witch in Harrenhal, really a ghost that only Damon can see and interact with? You might notice everyone else in that castle seems to ignore her. I was assuming, I don't know, that it's some type of witchcraft that's in his mind.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's what, it's Bender's saying the same thing. Yeah. I don't know the lore, but it's very weird, and you're never sure exactly what she wants. So on your point, I'm like, well, is this part of his conscience? Is this like, is he talking to himself? You know what I mean? Is he trying to reason some of these things out, or is he just going a little cuckoo, situationally? I don't know the answer to that.
Yep. That's a great question though. And look, another super solid show that I'm enjoying watching. So
The last
another,
episode was a little bit of a.
it was a slow burn, but it was still well written.
Oh yeah.
Everything makes sense.
Mhm.
I'm not dumbfounded, and I'm not thinking, "What? That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Why are they doing that?" There is none of that. You know what I mean? I don't have any of those feelings as I'm watching it. Unlike the Acolyte, where every 3 minutes I'm like, "That is so dumb. Why did the gopher pull the wires?"
This is heroic. He was being a hero,
I
Coach.
just,
He was saving May.
why did that guy spend 10 years in meditation for enlightenment, and within 30 seconds of waking up, he kills himself? I don't get it. But thank you, Venture. We appreciate that very
By the
much,
way,
my
Coach,
brother.
the worst thing about it is he really all he wanted to do was go home. He was on some outpost. He didn't even, I mean, I know there was like 6 years that happened in between, but his whole motivation was let me go home.
Right.
Then he didn't even stay on Coruscant. I ended up going somewhere else.
It doesn't make sense. All right. Gray Fox says he was there in 77 with his little brother. That is awesome. The Wild Man of Yavin. My first Star Wars was Return of the Jedi at my uncle's house on tape. That is awesome. P.O. Box Christmas. Just saw an actor from Return of the Jedi go on an insane anti-white male rant on Facebook over the Acolyte.
Oh, geez.
Please,
What is that all about?
please post where we could find that. I must see this.
They won't be able to put the link, though.
Well, DM it, email me the link, echobasenetwork@gmail.com. Whatever we got to do to get that, please let us know. And guys, if y'all will be watching for P.O. Box Christmas, he's still in chat. He's talking right now. So
yeah, but I think he can't post a link, but he can provide it. He can type it out somehow. Maybe we can find it.
Yeah. Just figure out how we can get
His
that
Facebook
information.
page or whatever.
Yeah. All right. Well, we appreciate that. Let's see. We got a $10 super chat from Darth Racer 777. I was there in 77 when I watched it for the first time. I was awestruck. Someone actually made a movie for me. That's what I was thinking. That is awesome. I think that's how all of us felt with the original trilogy.
And the best thing about this is the context of made a movie for me is because the story is truly timeless, right? This coming of age, everyone can be Luke Skywalker kind of a story. This is what happens. It's growing pains. It's how you find your way. It can happen for you. Everything you wanted to see in a story, anyone could be Luke, right? And from your own point of view, it just works.
Yep. Absolutely. Let's keep rolling. Darth Racer, thank you for sharing that with us, man.
My boss was trying to watch Hulk Hogan speak at the RNC, and he wanted me to take care of a ticket for him.
Oh, jeez. Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan making America great again.
Yeah.
Running wild on you.
Yeah. Hey, brother.
Okay.
Listen, I was glad to see someone dusted old Lee Greenwood off. I didn't even know Lee Greenwood was still around.
Oh,
They
yeah.
dusted
Yeah.
him
Hey.
off, and he sounded great.
He can still sing it, man.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
can still sing it. So look, Nick, I think this one's worthy of you giving a reply to Darth Racer 777 with a $10 super chat.
Mhm.
Thank you, brother. I was there in 77 when I watched it for the first time. I was awestruck. Someone actually made a movie for me. That's what I was thinking.
Damn it.
We'll get back to you, Darth Racer. Thank you, brother. I loved it. He's tied up.
Yeah. I would have loved to have been there in 77. I can't imagine. Like, just say you were, say, 15 years old, at the time in 77. All these movies that you saw coming out, Flash Gordon, everything, you can tell it's all fake and, movie stuff. And then Star Wars comes out, and then you see all the opening shot, the blockade runner and then the Star Destroyer, and everything just looks like real and like awesome.
Yeah.
And then the droids look good. Everything sounds good. The acting's good. You know, dialogue's kind of wonky, but you know, it's kind of, you know, fun, you know. Like God, I can't imagine being there in 77 first seeing that. You know, I was so young when I first saw it. You know, it didn't have that kind of impact on me. I just loved it for the story and stuff. But I couldn't imagine being like fully developed in my brain and everything and going and seeing that for the first time, having seen everything that came before it.
Yeah.
You know, that wasn't that great,
Yeah.
you know.
I
Yep.
agree. I'm looking into something real quick if you guys want to.
Mexican Iron Man.
Oh,
What's
no.
going on, Mike?
Oh, no.
I blame Darth Simpis, aka Moff Rissman, for all the problems at Lucasfilm. Clearly, Rissman did not spend enough time satisfying KK's needs, and that's why we got the Acolyte. It's all your fault, Rissman.
Apparently.
It's all your fault.
Apparently. You know, me and my girl KK.
Oh man, that's funny.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Mexican
Mike.
Iron Man.
Mobius CGI, and you guys can catch Mexican Iron Man on EBN Cast tomorrow afternoon at 2:00 Central.
Oh, we didn't go through. Well, we'll get there later.
Yeah. Mobius CGI 499. Would EBN consider featuring Star Wars fan films?
Yes.
Many amazing works are on YouTube and are arguably better than the recent Star Wars. Love the channel. Keep it up. Yeah. The only thing about doing the fan films, I mean, I'm pretty sure they couldn't strike us. Could they?
It depends. So like Ted's very successful with it, but he's doing a reaction, and I don't know that he plays. Does he play the whole thing? I think he does. You know, but you have to be the really annoying, like, you know, we're on the screen, we're watching it, we're pausing it, we're talking about it. I think even though it's just because you never know what they've used in it, you're not going to get struck for using a fan film, right? Because they're not for profit. But if they put something in it that's problematic, then I think it's bit of a trickle down effect.
Yeah. But yeah, I've seen several of the fan films. One of my favorites was the anime TIE Fighter.
That one's awesome.
Film. That is freaking badass. Yeah, I really like that one a lot.
So the guys in chat were saying that Mike Quinn, the guy who played Nine Numb,
Yep.
that he went on
He's
an
the rant.
anti-white rant over the Acolyte.
Ooh. Did you
And
find
really?
it?
I cannot find it, but I did find, and we've met him, by the way, at Icon.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be there again, isn't he?
I'm not sure. I tried to find
I
that.
forget now.
They haven't announced everybody yet.
He's at an expo right now in England, but he was actually he played 3 different characters in the Acolyte.
Oh, interesting.
Really?
He did.
So that's why he was ranting about the Acolyte.
Yeah, probably so. If it's true, and I'm not saying that I don't believe it's not true. I mean, I do believe the chat telling us about it. I just can't find the video.
He may have taken it down. He may have taken it down if it was on Facebook, unless it may have gotten taken down.
Yep.
Yeah. Once you put something on the internet, though, it's out there forever.
Somebody's saving it. You have to find it later.
Data Racer will have screenshots.
Yep. Olaf for €2. Multiverse of Madness had 33 rewrites of scripts.
Speaking of madness,
they should have kept going because whatever one they landed on, it did.
Yeah, I finally finished that film. Like probably maybe a month and a half ago. I tried watching it 3 different times, fell asleep every single time. Finally watched the whole thing all the way through, and I was just like, "This is dumb. I don't like it." You know, I don't like it at all. So whatever. Olaf for €2. When I was 4 years old, ESB Yoda was scary, same as E.T. Nothing in Star Wars ever scared me. But when I saw Aliens for the first time, and I probably saw that movie way too young. the first time I saw it.
Speaking of scary, and the movie I'm most looking forward to here in less than a month's time, if you all see, I know we put it in the show notes, but the latest Alien Romulus trailer,
Yes,
holy
the final
shit.
trailer.
I
Yeah.
haven't watched it yet.
It looks terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
And have you seen the popcorn buckets for that?
Yes,
Oh,
it's
I'm
the
getting
whole
one.
xenomorph is the popcorn bucket, and the back opens up and the popcorn goes
Yeah.
in.
So I'm gonna get two because Mr. H wants one. So if nobody else gets Mr. H one, I'm gonna send him the other one. But if somebody does get him one, then I'm gonna have two.
I think there's two different ones, right? There's the xenomorph where the back opens up and the popcorn goes in. And then I thought somebody else was taking the bucket and it had the face hugger was sort of wrapped around the, like a plastic face hugger was wrapped around the bucket with like the claws going into it. So I think there may be a couple of different kinds of popcorn buckets coming.
Very cool. Very cool. Let's see. P.O. Box Christmas, who was telling us about the Mike Quinn stuff. It was Mike Quinn. He went berserk on people in a Facebook group. It was woke nonsense. Couldn't believe the stuff he said. So you could lose fans like that. And Soul Assassin says Darth Angelus is a YouTube channel and doing an animated Heir to the Empire series that's real good. Nick has actually had him.
We've had him on here
on the channel. Yeah, we've had him.
I remember.
In an interview. He does fantastic work.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yep, I watch his new episodes every time that they come out. So yeah, I'm subscribed to him.
Very cool.
He's great. Darth Angelus. If you guys aren't subbed, go check him out.
Ryan Soilo with a $5 super chat. Off subject. Have y'all noticed Disney changed the Rebel Alliance to Alliance to restore the Republic Rebel and the Confederacy to just separatist? No, man. I did not. I'm not saying you're wrong at all, but I did not notice any of that.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I thought it was always. I thought Rebels was just shorthand. I thought it was always the Alliance to restore the Republic. No,
I thought so because you know in the original trilogy that Leia and them they talk about the Alliance. You know, they just call it the Alliance,
right? And it's been so long since I've read the novelizations. I don't remember.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
but
we'll
Ryan,
keep our eyes open for that though.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something worth looking at for sure. Thank you very much, my friend. And then Darth Racer 777, $5. Gina Carano and Mark Hamill will both be at the Chicago Fan Expo, I believe, in August. That should be interesting.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Could you imagine the two of them alone together in an elevator?
Yeah.
if someone had
his ass,
if someone had
destroy him.
If someone has a sense of humor, they should put their tables next to each other.
Yeah. That would be freaking hilarious.
Well, look, I'm gonna be honest, man. Like, Nick got to meet and hang out with Gina Carano.
I saw the picture.
Thanks to Drunk 3PO, which was awesome. I'm gonna be honest. Luke Skywalker is my favorite character in movie history, in any fandom. He's number one. But if I'm walking through an expo and Mark Hamill is sitting at a table and Gina Carano is sitting at a table, and I wasn't even crazy about Cara Dune, for all I cared at the time, take her or leave her. I didn't care that much. I didn't get all excited about Cara Dune's character, but I like Gina Carano as a person so much more
than Mark Hamill.
I would walk over to Gina Carano's table in a heartbeat before walking over to Mark Hamill's.
Yeah. Luke Skywalker is one of my favorite characters of all time, one of my favorite hero characters of all time. But Mark Hamill is a person. He's just off his rocker, man. And it seems like the older he gets, the worse he gets. I don't ever remember him being like that or ever hearing the kind of crap that he says. Like,
dude, we didn't hear from him for 20 years.
Yeah.
The only thing he was doing was Joker.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was in Wing Commander 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
A PC video game. He couldn't get a job in the industry.
Well, and the
No.
voice acting, because he's voice acted, like he voice acted Skeletor in the He-Man reboot. So I mean, I think the voice acting sort of saved his career a bit, or at least continued his career.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got to tell you, I don't spend much time on X, but every time I come across one of his comments now, I just cringe, right? Because they are just completely unhinged.
He's more TDS than man now.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Twisted and evil.
yeah. Matt, I found that.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
That's the one I was talking. So one on the left is the xenomorph, and the one on the right is the hugger, right?
They
Yeah.
have both
Face hugger
buckets.
on there.
Yeah. So the face
I
hugger
can't do
one.
the face hugger. Hell
Yeah.
no.
The face
Oh,
guys
hugger.
know.
I'm getting both.
Because I can
I'm
buy it
getting
from my
both.
AMC. Then I wonder if AMC is only going to have the face hugger and not the xenomorph. Then
Ooh, if that's the case, because the AMC is right by my house. I'll get this
When's
one
this
then.
thing coming out?
in a
April,
month.
August 18th, August 17th,
Yeah.
18th, something like
Am
Yeah,
I
that.
coming to
a
your
month from
place?
now. Yeah, if you want.
We're watching it down the street from your house?
Yeah.
Or you want to go to Monaco?
Uh,
I don't know what you all have to choose from, but this is one of those movies where you're either going to want to see it on IMAX or you're going to want to see it on the Dolby screen if you're doing AMC.
Oh, we going Dolby for
Yeah.
real.
Dolby is
Or
what
I'm down
Dolby's
with
what I'm going
IMAX.
to pick.
I'm down. Whatever you want to do. Let's
yeah.
go.
So I was gonna go to IMAX.
$35 movie ticket, no problem.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
worth it.
All right,
Yeah, I
let's do it.
Yeah, I
Let's
was
do
gonna
it.
do IMAX.
Well,
Patton
I'll
Creek.
come to you then. That's fine.
All right.
Whatever.
So yeah, I'll get this then, and then I'll get the alien one.
Wing Commander
other
3
one.
broke my brain and changed my life. You cannot defeat the Drakai.
Yeah. The
Yeah, I
game
think it
was
must be-
awesome.
I think it
but,
must be
the movie
August.
was not.
I think it must be August the 16th, with the first early screenings August the 15th
Yeah.
for the movie.
Cool,
Yeah, which is
cool.
a Thursday.
All right.
night.
So look, I don't know what Nick's going to want to do or anything, but I have posted the link for all Jedi Grandmasters and Jedi Masters, Grandmasters and Jedi Masters, to join us here on the show for pop-ins. It's usually at this point we switch the stream over to members only. I don't know, Nick, if you want to.
I'm only going to be here for 10 more minutes, so it's up to you guys, because you guys are going to be the ones.
And
that
I'm we have a mental health day off tomorrow, Coach. So I'm off tomorrow. So I'm here for as long as you need me.
I'm okay with yeah, let's do that. We can switch it over to a members only and do pop-ins and let people come on and do that. I do want to say real quick before we do that the legendary Tron has been in the chat.
He wanted to texting you. He said he was texting you.
He
by the
did.
way.
He sent me a
Okay.
message. I saw it just a few minutes ago. He you know, most of you know who the legendary Tron is. He has been in the hospital for several months now, and he is having some financial difficulties. So if anybody feels led or compelled or just want to help him out, if you will see a members or a community post that I made just a couple days ago, all of his information is there. No gift, like send him $2. Anything will help him out dramatically. He's our hero. We love him very much. You know, he's one of the toughest guys that we know on YouTube. So yeah, if everybody could just help him out, if you can, that would be fantastic.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. All right. So guys, I don't know if we have first of all, ain't nobody popped in yet.
I was gonna say, do you want to run some trailers? Do you want to play some trailers while we're waiting for people? We never played.
I mean, we got
trailers.
7 minutes before Nick's got to bounce. All right, Nick.
Yeah.
Alien Romulus, Dune Prophecy, or Beetlejuice?
Alien Romulus.
All right, let's do it.
Only word of warning on Romulus for anybody who's sensitive to it. There's a few F words. We will have Just
Oh,
have to put your F word.
we've
put
been
your
watching
F-word
The
ears on.
Acolyte, so we're good.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Present, share. All right. We are going to watch this trailer now. I've not seen it. This is my first time.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Atmosphere processing center.
Should I pause it every few seconds?
There might be a little music coming, so
Okay.
She is.
I forget the song is though.
And steal highly regulated equipment.
This could be our only ticket out of here. Should be in and out in 30 minutes.
So I think I
people
missed.
are asking for the donation link.
Oh, do we know what it is?
It's on our community page.
Yeah.
I can probably grab it.
Here.
Can I grab it?
Yeah, yeah. If you can grab it and just slap it in there on the comments and highlight it, that will be fantastic. Thank you.
Do it.
All right, let's continue.
So one thing we learned from this is it is basically a heist.
Yes, I was just going to say before I got distracted, I missed why they were going on there. They're going to. They think they got some stuff they can sell. They're going to.
Yep. Some highly regulated equipment, and the station's been abandoned.
So that's the name of the movie. That's why it's called Romulus. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's the space station.
The abandoned station is called
Mhm.
Romulus. Yep.
Do you know where the word Romulus comes from?
Star Trek.
No,
No.
Greek lore or something, or
Roman lore.
Roman. Yeah.
and half the station is called Romulus, and the other half of the station is called I forget. But one half of the station is supposed to look like Alien, inspired by Alien, and the other half of the station is inspired by aliens.
Romulus, the legend for the Romans, stabbed his brother in the neck for making fun of his designed city, Rome. So he named.
Oh, is
the
it
city.
Remus? Is the other side called Remus?
Oh, I have no
I
idea.
didn't think so. Oh yeah, this is why that song might get us.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
pause that.
You are my lucky star.
Nick.
Yeah. Oh yeah. August 16th.
Yeah.
This place gives me the creeps.
What the hell is this?
Long trailer.
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm wondering if there's going to be some androids.
So
Oh
Some
no.
synthetic-
so two things, right? So the station is called the Renaissance Station, and one half is called Romulus, which has the secret Wayland research place, and the other half is called Remus. And I'm starting to wonder if the android's part is played by the space station voice. So the space station was called like Mother. It almost looked like it was with slashes.
Yeah,
but I
it's
think
the same
called-
voice from Alien.
I think
from
the
Nostromo.
space station is Mother, Mothur. I think we saw that.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that's going to play the role of the android here.
Awesome.
What the fuck was that?
Terrifying.
I usually don't like the F word in movie trailers, but this is Alien, so I'll give it a
Yeah.
pass.
Yo,
Stop playing around, man. Just get
I'm
up.
not playing around. There's something in the water.
What do you mean there's something
I
in the
don't know.
water?
There's just something in the fucking water.
Oh my gosh.
I know. You ain't seen nothing yet. Wait until. Oh,
Yeah. I know what part you're talking about, Matt.
Oh!
bro, wait until you see. Oh no. Oh no.
Are you
Oh no.
alright?
Oh no. Here it comes.
No.
Oh no. And you know it's coming and it's still awful.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my.
Hello, my ragtime. Yeah.
Whatever comes, we'll face it together.
Let's go.
Impact event in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, if the movie's as good as the trailer, we're in great shape.
Listen,
Yeah.
I think, and I found another interview between Fede and Ridley talking about style and all that. I don't, and I know it's not for everybody, and I know some other people have been like, here we go again, remember this, remember that, and I'm like, yeah, you know, it looks like an alien film made by an alien like aficionado, right? So
Yeah.
I'm
like,
concerned that we just got all the best stuff in the movie in the trailer.
I hope they didn't do that.
I
to
hope
us.
not.
That's my concern, man.
Yeah.
This movie is either going to be great or it's going to be the trailer.
I mean, surely
And
the
that's it.
Queen's got to be in there. I mean, there's got to be some other stuff, right?
Yeah, because you see the hive, the alien hive, you know, that they started building, like what you saw in Aliens.
Mhm.
So I would imagine there's a queen there. But who knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
All right. Well, we do have a pop in now.
We
so
have a pop in.
Yeah,
And ladies and gentlemen, we're
So
going to
do we
move it
want
over.
to actually switch the stream or just leave it go, or what? How do you want to handle it?
I mean, Nick, what should we do? Like, what do we normally switch it over now, so we probably need to switch it over. Like,
yeah. We'll switch it over to members only stream. Because we'll kind of do this other part of the show for members only.
Yeah.
So guys,
thank
who
you.
are not members, thank you
non-members.
for being
Thank you for being here.
Yep.
Yep.
And
Thanks
tomorrow,
for all
EBN cast tomorrow.
EBN
at
cast
2?
tomorrow afternoon, 2:00 Central Time.
I don't know if I can be there. I don't know what's going on with me.
Yeah. So yep. Well, we'll be there. So yep. We'll see you guys then. Until next time. Thanks, guys.